It was a cold snowy night. I had just spawned and finished looting a nearby ship. As I was exploring, I came across this big mushroom structure at the edge of the snow biome. And well, I decided to tempt fate and grab all the juicy loot from this place as well. However, before making my way in, I had received a message from my friend Kits, saying he was looking for me. So I decided to fly around, trying to see if I could spot him. Now, you might be thinking, if you just spawned, then how come you can fly? And well, I was getting to that. See, in this mod pack, when you spawn, you can select an origin, a divine blessing, and a class. I had went for the Bird of Paradise origin, which would allow me to fly and not take any fall damage, with the drawback that I would immediately sink if I so much as touched water. I had also picked the divine blessing of War God Ares, which would give me improved crit damage, and the blacksmith class, which would provide me with some small benefits when I would use weapons and armors that I had crafted. Alright, let's get back to the story. Me and Kits eventually found each other, and now we could officially start our adventure. First thing I needed was some leather for 2 backpacks, and thankfully I had spotted some cows down in the forest, just peacefully grazing on some grass. After rudely interrupting them and collecting the leather, I was then rudely interrupted by a skeleton wielding an axe. Needless to say, I quickly made my escape. However, Kits wasn't as lucky. He had fallen in a pit and a skeleton had jumped in after him. While I was making my way to him, he'd managed to keep the skelly at bay so he could fly out. However, I decided to live up to my divine blessing and quickly deal with this uninvited guest. Now, one thing you should know is that unlike normal Minecraft, the mobs in this mod pack have levels. The further away you get from spawn, the higher the levels. And if you go far enough, I'm talking thousands of levels. The higher the level, the more damage, health and speed they'd have, as well as other buffs. With the threat removed, I could go back to collecting my leather. So after making a crafting table and a chest, lo and behold, I made one of the most important items ever, the backpack. I could then upgrade it to iron, then gold, and then diamond. Unfortunately, I didn't have any netherite, so I couldn't upgrade it to the max, but diamond tier was good for now. After crafting one more for Kits, we both now had some free space in our inventory, so we could continue looting and exploring the world. But mostly looting. With the diamonds I'd found, I could make full diamond tools and armor, which by the way is equivalent to iron armor in this mod pack, which can barely be considered starter gear. I can now try to loot the big mushroom. Emphasis on try. I made a shield, which proved to be useless, since with one hit the piglin gave me blindness and made me flee in panic. See, every mob has a certain chance to spawn as either an elite, ultra or inferno. These in turn can have various effects and abilities, such as regeneration or in this case, blindness. And well, I wasn't ready to face that guy just yet. I need that Batman prep time, you know. But I could at least choose some easy to access chests, which allowed me to get my first flawless gem. And well, I'll explain what I do later, but for now, all you have to know is that this loot was worth the risk of me dying. I did manage to break the spawner before having to fly away, because yeah, 2 hits had nearly killed me. While I was doing that, Kits nearly blew himself up with a TNT trap in a magic tower, and when I flew over to see if I could scavenge some loot, I saw this thing flying about. Yeah, I wasn't gonna stick around and provoke it. Well, we had to find a base location anyway. So we decided to fly around for a bit and see if we could find something to work with. And well, I did find this weird ruin with a chest in the ground, probably some kind of dungeon, but I wasn't ready to find out. And almost to prove my point, another axe maniac scaly attacked me and nearly killed me. But I was willing to forgive him for now, since I needed some obsidian and this lava pit just happened to be nearby. However, before I could mine it, all kinds of mobs attacked me, so I had to fly away. Kits had alerted me to a battle tower nearby, so I went in to join him. Inside, I was instantly attacked by a cursed arm, which have a certain chance of spawning every time you open a chest. And wow, this guy took a beating. Like, look at this. It took us tag teaming to kill this thing, and it still took like 20 seconds to kill. And this is just some random mob, not even a boss or an infernal mob. Then this fireball spider came from nowhere, and after dispatching it, we could loot the chest. Once that was done, we wanted to head to the next floor, but this guy tried stopping us. Yeah, the first ultra mob we encountered, and I quote, "Quicksand lifesteal 1-up sprint blast off with a gravity, with over 600 HP and only level 15 by the way." Yeah, these mobs are no joke. After tag teaming him as well, I quickly broke the spawner, cleared the room, and moved to the next, since unfortunately there was no chest to loot in this one. But then we saw the next room was full of spiders, some probably elite, so we decided to bail and come back when we were stronger. I then flew back to mine the obsidian, only to be assaulted by some nagas, aka wyverns. But I decided that picking a fight with 3 of them was probably a bad idea. I then flew around a bit and found this snowed-in temple building, but inside was empty, so I quickly left. This wooden tower was right next to it though, so I quickly got some books, gold, slime balls, and gems that I could use later. I then flew around a bit more, found this half-built house, which I assumed someone was in the process of building, and I guess whoever it was forgot to claim the chunks, but I'm sure they would at some point. Anyway, I continued exploring, found another battle tower, and got the waystone, which would allow me to fast travel to any location in any dimension. Honestly, let me just say that those waystones are the best things ever added to Minecraft. They save so much time. After looting the whole tower and getting some decent stuff, and then Kits finding an extra ring of night vision for me, which aside from providing an infinite night vision effect, it didn't have any overpowered effects like some of the other rings, But man, was it game-changing when exploring dark places. In fact, I think I used that ring all the way into endgame content. But then it happened. Nemesis Hill. Or at least, that's what I named it after the events that unfolded. Flying in, I could instantly tell that a group of players had claimed this area. They built a decent base and had a colony just outside that prevented other players from interacting with any blocks, without having to formally claim the chunks. Not long after, I found two of the players that claimed the area, Prince and Matteo. I did see on the map, however, another name, so there was at least one more player in this group. Prince could fly just like in creative. However, that wasn't really strange, since there was an arcane scroll that would allow you to fly at the cost of experience, and it could be bought from the shop. It was just super expensive, at 35,000 Cisco coins, which was a really rare drop from high-level Infernal mode. Me and kids came in friendly, just admiring the gear, the colony, seeing how they had Ascendant gear, which is normally really hard to get. Little would I know that these three players would hold a much darker secret, one which would completely change the fate of this server. While Kids was telling me that these guys look friendly and had cool gear, one of them, Prince, had cold-bloodedly killed him and taken all his loot. This was low. We had just spawned hours ago. Meanwhile, they had endgame gear and legendary weapons, while we had just started. I flew to his body, trying to see if I could recover his loot and escape, but I couldn't since the whole area was claimed. I then flew to a tree, trying to think what we could do, only for this to happen. The third player, Azriel, had come in and killed me with his magic sight. Needless to say, I was shocked and angry, but it was then that we decided they would pay. Not only had they killed us with no provocation, they had also taken all of our loot and made us wait in humiliation while they went through all our stuff deciding on what to keep. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, so I had no idea what they were saying in chat. But no joke, we had to wait for like 10 minutes to get our stuff back. And only after Kids' pleading and my threats did they decide to give our stuff back. Of course, that was only after they decided to take a few things from us that they fancied. It was this day that they'd make their biggest enemies on the server, and what was about to come to them, they regret for the rest of their lives. Humiliated and defeated, I made my way out of the claim. However, my plan on getting back at them was already starting to take shape, and I would not rest until I had my revenge. I would in fact become the god of war. Flying around, I soon found a village. All the villagers seemed to be dead or missing, which was unfortunate, since villages are one of the best and fastest way to become stronger. I was looting some chests, but then came across the body of a player. See his name? Keep it in mind, since he'll become part of the story soon enough. After helping myself to some goodies from his body, I collected some carrots and potatoes from the greenhouse in the village, got another waystone, and killed my first boss. And wow, he was a pain to kill. I think it took like 2 or 3 minutes of constantly hitting him to eventually take him down. Although it was worth it, since he dropped a power 4 infinity bow. Yeah, I totally did that again. I then flew around for a bit longer, since Kids has apparently found a dungeon right under the snowy biome. Not long after, Prince messaged in chat, telling me specifically that I wasn't allowed in this area. This was like rubbing salt in our wound, but this would only make my revenge that more sweet. I had decided to fall back for now, but not before leaving him with an ominous message. Although I made a 360 since the allure of loot from a dungeon was greater than any threat a dead man could give me. Plus, since the dungeon was already cleared probably by the 3 of them, it would be poetic how they would have a part to play in their own downfall. So, did some looting, killed some cursed armors, almost died, more looting, then met up with Kids, and then even more looting in the lower levels of the dungeon. Then rinse and repeat. I think you get the picture. I then found this necromancer that used some kind of freeze spell on me. I quickly dispatched him and moved on. After making my way out of the dungeon and flying for a while, I found this floating village, which was a clutch find, since this would significantly speed up my progress in getting my revenge. Once I collected permanent lifetime employees, I had come across this pyromancer guy. And after barricading him in another room to make sure he wouldn't sneak attack me while I permanently borrowed some of his things, namely his inscriptions table, which would allow me to start using some of the best things in the mod pack, spells. Thankfully, locking him in another room was the correct choice, since as soon as we went inside, he started blasting his Skyrim flame spell at us. Unfortunately for him, the tag team strategy wins once again. After borrowing some more of his stuff and Kids testing out some scrolls, we flew to the giant mushroom, since we needed some of these brown mushrooms that would help us progress even faster. Along the way, I did see this turtle, which I decided to name Will. Anyway, after collecting the rest of the mushrooms, we continued exploring until we came across this epic find, this wandering trader mini-boss, which traded us an amazing sword with a capturing enchant, which would give a small chance for a mob to drop its spawn egg when killed. This would allow us to get a silverfish spawn egg and spawner, which is essential to progress in this mod pack. The wandering trader boss was a boss for a reason though, since it started shooting some wither fireballs my way, which almost killed me once again. And if you think that near-death experience would teach me to be more careful, you'd be wrong, since just minutes later, this would happen. my second death on the server. Honestly, I don't know what to say. Aside from that was a dumb move, and I needed to start putting some respect on these mobs. I mean, I was full diamond with some enchants, but I still got like 3 shot. This just made getting stronger that much more of a priority. So after going back and getting my stuff, I made sure to loot some of the chests, then fly off, since that evoker mini-boss was somehow preventing me from opening the other chest. We were now specifically on the hunt for silverfish and spawners. See, kids had figured out, from almost dying to the previous magic tower, that some of the stone blocks have a chance of spawning silverfish when broken. So there, we went on the hunt for every single magic tower we could find, and we demolished them. It was in the hopes that we could get the silverfish spawn egg. Along the way, I did come across this database, so note down the location since I'll be back here. Thinking there might be a better way of finding buildings, I remembered about this handy thing called an explorer compass, which would essentially point me to any structure I searched for within 10,000 blocks in any direction. I did fly past this nice elevated base and a silverfish mob grinder. Now, you might be thinking, what's the deal with the silverfish? Why are you making such a big deal about them? Wouldn't a different mob be better? And well, the answer would generally be no. You see, in this mod pack, silverfish, aside from not dropping any useless items like, stone shovels and axes, they specifically drop every kind of gem needed to upgrade gear, but also amazing drops like diamond, gold, netherite scrap, bryce steel, and oh yeah, Cisco coins. These silverfish are in fact what will allow us to get our revenge on Prince and Azrael. So yeah, after demolishing yet another tower and more dungeon diving, we came across this big forest. I say forest, but it was more like a few trees at the edge of a cliff. Nonetheless, we liked the location. Pretty much being in the middle of everything, with ample building materials all around us. So yeah, we decided this would be the perfect location for our starter base. And I guess we weren't the only ones that thought that, since some pillagers had made their camp here as well. But after dealing with them, and having a few creepers say hi, we could clear out this place and start building the outline of the base. Now I know what you might be thinking. What the heck is this monstrosity? I get it. It's probably not the best looking starter base you saw out there, but you know what? Neither me or kits are builders. So for what it is, it's super functional. Plus, our main priority was to quickly advance and become stronger, not spend the next 100 hours base building, although that could be fun in its own way, I guess. But yeah, once that was done, I started working on one of the best mods ever invented, Easy Villagers. And it literally is exactly what it sounds like. villagers made easy. You know, all the good stuff: carrot and potato farms for infinite potatoes and carrots, iron farm for infinite iron, converters for 1 emerald trades, and you know, the essential villager breeder and incubator for infinite villagers. Yeah, overall, one of the best mods for Minecraft, and such a quality of life improvement, especially since you can reload villager trades very easily. Yeah, I love this mod. And I did in fact spend the next half an hour just reloading enchanting book trades until I got all the good stuff, you know, like mending, protection, sharpness, and some new enchants like Devour, Slayer, and Scavenger. I won't be explaining what every enchant does because that will take like an extra 3 hours, but if you want to look up what they do, then you're more than welcome to. Do you remember these brown mushrooms we got previously? Well, this is what they're used for. Fermented spider eyes, since I can make potions of weaknesses and upgrade the mob spawners. Now, I needed a break from all those villagers, you know, just to clear my head from villager trading noises. I decided to go out exploring, and soon enough, I stumbled on this dungeon in a cave/ravine. So, you know, after a nice little exploration adventure, looting, killing, more killing, dying, yeah, this happened. Yeah, that guy ran up on me. I didn't see it coming. I mean, he came at me with such a vengeance and one-shot me. Yeah, so flew back, got my stuff, finished exploring the dungeon. Got some spawners along the way. Oh yeah, you can pick up spawners with Silk Touch in this mod pack. Then went back home, did more villager trading, got the farmer villagers to trade 1 carrot for 1 emerald, which is, you know, just slightly OP, since I have infinite carrots and whatnot, and eventually decided it was time to make the portal in preparation for the nether. Looking back at it, I definitely wasn't ready for the nether, but hey, no risk, no reward, right? Plus, if I ever come across danger, I can do what every main character does and just run away, right?